but keeping track of who invited who last, who showed up to whose celebration, that starts to feel like you're building a case against your friends rather than being in a relationship with them. And I think that's what caused some like tension for me.
I think if you're listening and you're in a relationship where you've set boundaries around interactions with others, I think then the question worth considering is sort of, are your boundaries protecting your relationship, or are they sort of preventing you from becoming a good community member?
And can you be both faithful and kind? Because I think you can.
Hey,
Hello.
everybody.
Hey,
Welcome.
everyone.
Welcome. Welcome to the Wait and Wonder. I'm Jason Herndon, licensed psychologist.
And I'm Philicia Ross. I'm a licensed clinical social worker.
This is where we take what's buzzing in pop culture and relationships and look at it through our therapist eyes, not to
Yes,
diagnose the internet,
not at
but to
all.
explore the nuance that gets lost in these hot takes.
Because usually we know that there's more to the story. And today we're talking about gatekeeping kindness in relationships and what it actually means to quote unquote keep score in friendships. But before we get into all of that, how are you doing, Jason, out of session?
I am sitting with a lot today. I think we probably all are. We're recording this a day, maybe 2 days after two Black journalists and a Black organizer got arrested by federal officers. We're heading into Black History Month with all of this heaviness, and it's a lot.
It is a lot. And also, like, the East Coast is a frozen tundra. You're getting snow
So
in the
much snow. It has not stopped snowing today.
It's just so much, and I've been thinking about that too. There's this expectation that therapists, especially I think Black therapists, are supposed to just know how to help clients regulate through this and help them process it. And I'll be quite honest, there is no processing authoritarianism, there's no processing fascism. Our bodies were not meant to hold the level of dysregulation and dysfunction that we're seeing right now in the highest of office in our country, and the communities being harmed are communities that we belong to, and there's a real
Hmm.
dissonance in that and trying to hold space for clients and what's happening in their personal ecosystems while also recognizing that the system itself is also being harmful to them and their loved ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a true moral injury, right? So we are supposed to sit in this therapy room and help people cope with the violence that they're experiencing, but it's not that they're experiencing, it's what we are also experiencing, right? And so we're trying to deal, therapy is hard on a Tuesday, right? So like, and meanwhile, right, we've got federal officers, right, killing civilians in broad daylight in the street and facing little to no consequences at all. And so it can just be really tough to sit, to feel like you can be present in the issue, whatever is bringing folks to therapy, while also just wrangling all the stuff that's happening inside.
Absolutely. And so I just want to name that for anyone listening who's carrying that weight today, whether you are a client or whether you are a therapist. We see you, we're carrying it too. If your therapist seems a little heavier this month and has seemed heavier in the last year, there's a lot of reasons why. And shout out to all the therapists who are doing this work, trying to regulate themselves, still trying to find the whimsy while holding the weight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We can get into today's topics, but I wanted to make space for that first.
I absolutely appreciate that. Thank you, friend. Okay,
Of course.
let's hop right into it.
All right. So the video I'm bringing today is this couple. There, I'm sure you've seen the video.
It went viral.
It really did. It had TikTok and Instagram where I sort of live in a chokehold. So it's a wife and a husband. They are in a grocery store, and the wife is explaining that they have this rule in their relationship. And so basically, her argument is a woman, whether that woman is single or not, should approach her and not approach her husband. So what happened is this woman approached her husband. It sounds like to ask him to help her get something off of a shelf at the grocery store. And she was not about that life. So
That wasn't her ministry
no, it certainly
based
was.
off of that.
So before he helped, he turned to his wife and asked for her permission. And the wife is really saying that, like, women who notice a man who is married or taken with his partner, whatever, need to know to ask the the girlfriend, the spouse, the wife, the whoever permission and not go directly to the man to ask for help because otherwise asking the man, she said, puts him in an awkward situation and basically described it as like inappropriate, right? It puts him in an inappropriate situation. So let's watch.
Y'all, I'm in Kroger, and you would not believe the audacity some people have. Me and my husband are in the shopping. My husband, the baby. Uh-oh, missed the baby, the baby. We in Kroger shopping. We on the aisle now. I'm looking at stuff. And this woman is with another woman. And she's like, sir, excuse me, sir. Can you reach this off the top shelf for me? We're short. I look at them. I look at him. He look at me. He said, boo. The fact that he knew he needed permission to help these people and the fact that they thought they could just ask him and he was gonna move for them. The audacity. Ain't that right, boo? That done tickled my soul. So I say that to say this. If you are in the store, married or single, by yourself, and you need help, and you notice that the man that you about to ask help from is with a woman, the correct thing to say is, excuse me, ma'am, is it okay if your husband can help me get something from the shelf? Don't put that man in that weird situation, because my husband's like, he didn't flinch, he didn't move, he looked at me, and he like, boo. And we both knew what that boo meant. So, but have a good day.
Okay. Philicia, what's that gut reaction?
So when you said like, Philicia, I want to process this, I immediately was like, well, all right. Because to be quite honest, if it's so clear that y'all are together, then what is the ulterior motive? Right?
Mhm.
As people saw in the video, she's with her husband. She even said, here's my husband, here's my baby. What's the ulterior motive? I mean, I feel like the Cardi B me, I have eyes. What's the ulterior motive? What could
What
the
is the
ulterior
reason?
motive really
Yeah.
be? This person is
Yeah.
asking for help. And as someone who is a part of the short committee, I am under 5'3". You're tall. And she looked tall too. I mean, either one of y'all really could have
Yeah.
got it if you had an issue with it. Like the woman is asking for help getting something off of a shelf. She's not asking him on a date.
Right, right. I think here's what I want to be like clear about upfront. So there is nothing inherently wrong with couples setting these like idiosyncratic rules, right? I tell couples all the time, your relationship only needs to work for you,
Mhm.
right? He asked the wife permission, right? So he at least understands the rules. Maybe he also agrees with them. Maybe they're on the same page. And if that is what's working for them, then great. We love an aligned couple. That's between them. I think what is interesting, right? Like, again, like this is not about like diagnosing
Mhm.
dysfunction or calling anyone insecure. Plenty of that happened on the internet when this
Yeah, I was
video
just
went
about to say they ate
viral.
her up, friend.
They
They
totally
ate her
did.
up.
Don't feel a strong need to do that. I don't know that this is the mark of dysfunction in their
Yeah.
relationship. It could be. I don't know. Right. But I don't think it is. I had like another thought.
Okay, well, I'm curious about what
Mhm.
you feel it's about because we may be aligned actually.
I think the thing that really stood out to me as I started like thinking about this, it rubbed me the wrong way. And I was wondering, like, what is it? Like, what is it?
Mhm.
It's about gatekeeping kindness, right? There is this line in the sand here. It's not sexual contact, it's not emotional intimacy. It's like basic human help. As you said, you are a short person.
Sure.
Sometimes you can't reach the thing
I
on, I mean, if
can't.
you're under 5'3", maybe even on the third shelf, not let
Okay,
alone the
well,
fourth.
calm down, friend.
Anyway, we can talk about that later. Right? Can
Wait
you
a
get
minute.
stuff on the second shelf? I don't know. I don't know. Right? But anyway, I think that's what makes this really ethically interesting to me, right?
Yeah,
Is
say
that
more
it's just
about
this
that.
sense of, yeah. So the rule here isn't just the two of them,
Yeah.
right? It also governs and regulates sort of how kindness gets distributed in public. So, like, his compassion is no longer communal, right? It is privatized and it is permission based, which means sort of this burden shifts to strangers to somehow, especially women, right? To somehow understand or anticipate like what the rules are, even though they're invisible and they're asking for help. And, you know, again, if this works for them, then wonderful. But this is, I don't think, a common rule in relationships. And so I'm like very curious, like how a person could possibly anticipate that this was something that they needed. to do.
I think that's the piece because how is a random woman in a store supposed to know what, or even that asking for help requires going through a whole chain of command.
Hmm.
How would she know that? So to put that
Right.
on a random woman in the grocery store who cannot reach the second or third shelf, how would she know? You know?
How would she know? I think that that's right. And I think that here's the like this ethical tension, right? Is that like the wife's needs are treated as the only morally relevant needs in this scenario, right? So if you are in the store with this couple and you need their help, too bad, right? It doesn't matter, right? If you didn't come correct, if she's not feeling generous and willing to give him permission and let him agree to help you, looks like you're waiting for the next guy, right, to help out. And I
Or
think that
even just the next tall person.
right,
He
right,
he was a tall person
just
that was just
right.
there. And I mean,
And I
you
think
looked
it's
as
just
tall as him,
so
you could have helped.
it's so true. It's so true. And so I do think that that's interesting, right? Is that the response was not let me do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'll do it myself. It was, hey, sis, this is inappropriate, right? Get away from my man.
And you get to, but I do think like we're talking about reaching something on a shelf. She wasn't asking him to lend out emotional labor or crossing boundaries. Like, the video where the guy goes and then he tries to grab the woman's hand and
Yes.
it wasn't a prank like that, which, he should stop playing so much because one day, but it
Mhm.
really is just about like being a decent person to a stranger in public.
Exactly. I think that this lands particularly poorly in our current cultural moment
Yeah.
because men are already assumed to lack even like the basic decency towards women. So when a man and his female partner like actively choose to withhold just like simple help, right? And I think to your point earlier, right? It's like she didn't ask him to change her oil. She didn't ask him to jump her car, right? Like this is just, will you hand me the cereal off the top shelf? You know, even if it's to honor his relationship, he will not help. He will not help. And so it just reinforces, I think, this kind of colder, more suspicious, right? Like social fabric. Like, can we really trust men to help?
Yeah, because now it's not just their private agreement. A private agreement to me like is between it's you and
Hmm.
your partner, but when your private agreement has public consequences, then I wonder if you pause and consider
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Right. I think that like their private agreements are now having ripple effects, right, on how
Mhm.
he moves through the world. And I'm very curious about whether this rule applies when he is alone, right? So if he needed to drop into the store by himself, what's the rule there? Or is it only when she's there to give permission or not give permission? That's the only time this rule applies. I think that's a really interesting question to me.
And I think that's a really good question, right? Because if it only applies when she's present, then it's not really about protecting the relationship. It's about the performance of a marriage.
Mm.
That's what it's about.
Hmm. That's right. And if it applies all the time, then we're asking, like, where's the line between our sort of like relational loyalty, which is important, but also just our civic responsibility, right? Like, what do we owe the people that we exist in community with, right? What does it mean to be faithful and decent to other people at the same time?
Because I don't think those things have to be in conflict. You can be committed to your partner and you can still help someone reach the damn cereal. Like some of us
Right?
are vertically challenged, and that's okay.
It's true.
It's
It's
okay.
true. Please help Felicia today. And I think what gets lost here.
Eat me up then, friend. That's all right. That's okay.
She's short and she needs
And I
support,
need some
y'all.
help.
That's right.
If y'all see me in the Sprouts, right? And I can just and my partner's
Please
not with
just
me, like I just
help.
don't understand. But I
That's
mean,
right.
you know.
So I think what gets lost here, right, is that kindness isn't a finite resource, right?
Yeah.
It costs us nothing. Helping a stranger doesn't take anything away from your relationship unless you believe somehow that any interaction with
Yeah.
another woman is inherently threatening.
And then that brings us back to the ulterior motive assumption, right? She's framing this woman as if she were trying to encroach on her relationship or on her
Mhm.
man by simply asking for help. And that says something to me about how she even views other women.
hmm It does. And again, I'm not here to diagnose the relationship or like call anyone names, but I do think it is worth asking sort of what kind of world are we building when basic kindness requires permission, when basic kindness is a threat, when helping someone becomes suspicious, becomes a threat somehow to your relationship.
Yeah,
What?
we're already living in a world right now, right, with everything that we named at the top of the show, where
Mhm.
people are increasingly isolated, right? Not of their own doing either, right? Systems are playing a big part in isolation. And so people are already less likely to help each other right now because they might be scared for themselves. And so I think this was just disappointing because it adds another layer to that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're listening and you're in a relationship where you've set boundaries around interactions with others, I think then the question worth considering is sort of, are your boundaries protecting your relationship or are they sort of preventing you from becoming a good community member?
And can you be both faithful and kind? Because I think you can.
I mean, I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. That's what I got. What do you got
All
for me?
right. All right. My turn. The video I bought is of a woman discussing keeping score in friendships, right? I find this very interesting. I do know that keeping score sounds petty. It is petty in retrospect, but she's arguing that it's not petty because we're in an era where everyone passes off their inability to show up as a good friend as self care. And she says you should pay attention to patterns. She lists things like being available for friends who are hardly available for you, showing up for their celebrations but rarely getting invites back, picking them up from the airport when you're in town but they don't do that for you, or loaning them money but you can't get the money back, or you can't hold $5. She's saying that this isn't toxic or harmful keeping score. Keeping score is about ensuring equity and reciprocity in friendships. So let's watch and then we'll come back.
I'm keeping score in my friendships, and you should too. Y'all know I have a real problem with this new era of talking points and this new era of therapy speak where everybody is passing off their inability to show up as a good friend as self-care. We're not doing that. And I'm not saying that you have to keep score in a toxic, nasty, petty way, but there are some things that you need to be paying attention to in your friendships. I come to every birthday dinner you've ever had, but you can never make it to mine. Uh-huh. I can come pick you up from the airport, but you can never, ever seem to make it to the airport when I'm in town. Okay. I can loan you money, but I can't hold $5 in my time of need. Okay. I always invite you out, but you never extend an invite to me. Oh, okay. So there are things that we need to be considering in our friendships for sure. And call it keeping track, call it keeping score. That's just what it is. So the takeaway here is this isn't about us being petty. This is about us making sure that there's equity in our friendships, that there's fairness, that people are not being taken advantage of, and that our needs are being met in our friendships. So no more of this, I don't keep score in my friendships. Baby, you better be paying attention and keeping score, because if not, then why are you there if there's no reciprocity? All right? What do you think?
Okay. Jason, I will start with you. I know you may have thoughts.
I mean, I do, but I want to hear your thoughts first because I can already tell that you are not on board with this.
I wasn't. I wasn't. And here's why. Nowhere in this video is there any mention of communicating expectations or how you want to be cared for in platonic relationships. It's just kind of listing these transactional behaviors, which may be why the comments were limited, and calling it reciprocity, right? Mhm.
Yeah, and I think transactional is the word that I kept coming back to as well.
Right, because the things that were listed in the video, as people may have noticed, is that loaning money and expecting it back, okay, that's a loan, but keeping track of who invited who last, who showed up to whose celebration, that starts to feel like you're building a case against your friends rather than being in a relationship with them. And I think that's what caused some like tension for me.
Yeah. So, like, what's the alternative? Because I do think she's pointing to something real, right? Which is, people who consistently don't show up, who
Hmm.
take more than they give.
Hmm.
Like, one sided relationships are real. We all know that. that does
Mhm.
happen.
It does happen, and I absolutely agree with you. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't notice patterns, right? That is not what I'm alluding to. I do, though, think that there is a difference between noticing patterns and keeping score, because noticing patterns to me is like, huh, I realize that I've been the one initiating our hangouts for maybe the last 6 months. I wonder what that's about.
Mhm.
Keeping score is, well, I invited you to these 3 things and you only invited me to one, so you owe me 2 invites, right? It's
That
like
is it's a very different strategy.
it's very different. It's just very different. I'm like, okay. And what she's calling equity and reciprocity, I'm choosing to call communication breakdown. Like you guys are having a
Mm,
breakdown in communication. Because if you feel like your friend isn't showing up for you, I don't know if the move is to silently keep track and build resentment. I wonder if the move could be to be like, hey, friend, let's talk
mhm.
about this. Because this
Yeah,
is what
so
I'm
then
feeling, and I'm feeling like a power dynamic that just doesn't feel great here, or a mismatch or a misalignment that doesn't feel great. Yeah.
yes. Okay, yes. So then it's less about the score and more
Mhm.
about just this lack of repair, really.
Right. And so, I went through a couple of tough friendship breakups back in the
Mhm.
day, years ago now, where there was no attempt to repair, just these lists of things that I did wrong presented to me, like evidence, like we were in a Law and Order SVU episode. I'm like, oh, well, damn. But a relationship to me with as much love as I thought it had,
Yeah.
I feel like that would invite repair to the rupture that the person is feeling. And I learned that not everyone knows how to repair and not everyone wants repair or both, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that that's right. I think it's just heavy, right? And so then you're saying here that keeping score is really then now a substitute for that vulnerability.
Yeah, a whole episode. We could have a whole episode on vulnerability because it's
Mhm.
easier to count who showed up to what than it is to say, I felt hurt when you didn't come celebrate me, or I felt hurt when you didn't come pick me up. Like, what's going on here? Like, what's
Mhm.
happening? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting, right? Because then we hear this when you frame it with this sense of like equity and fairness, then you get to kind of avoid the messiness of just like talking about your feelings, right? So it's this idea of like equity as like this is the end of the sentence, right? Like you're being inequitable, you're being unfair. Fix it. We don't need to talk about it.
That's it. And then like I don't know where you go from there because there's nowhere to go, right? Like it's a declaration. And here's the other thing. Friendships aren't going no relationship, not even just platonic relationships, romantic partnerships, all of it. They're not all going to be 50-50 all the
Hmm.
time. Sometimes I'm
Hmm.
going through it and you're holding me up. Sometimes you're going through it and I'm holding you up. Sometimes we're both drowning and all we can do is send memes,
So many memes.
right? To know like I'm
Yes.
thinking of you,
Yeah.
but like, bitch, I'm going through it. I'm
Yeah.
in it. So
Yeah.
I don't think that that's inequity. I think that that's life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the question isn't, are we exactly even, but like, do I feel valued and cared for over time?
Yes, right. I assume that you become friends with folks who you know do not have ill intentions, or at
Hmm.
least you can at least count on that. And if you feel that there's ill intentions, that you can ask or you can see, that there's some digging in. And if the answer is no, if you do not feel valued or cared for, then we talk about it, not keep a tally of all the times because it's like, well, dang, like, are we all like, am I in law school all of a sudden in this friendship? Like,
Hmm.
what are we doing? That's a bit tough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think about this point she made about sort of self care being
Mhm.
used as like an excuse not to show up?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a therapeutic word epidemic out here. Like, I think
That's a whole series of
the
episodes, not just
whole
one.
That's a whole episode. I do think
Yeah.
she has a point with that, right? I do think some people hide behind, I'm setting boundaries, like these buzzwords, right? Or I'm
Protecting
protecting
my
my
peace.
peace is another buzzword that we keep hearing. And reality, that's avoidance. You're avoidant. I'm so sorry. There's
Hmm.
avoidance there, right? And remember, multiple things can be true at once. Maybe you do feel like you're protecting your peace, and it is possible that in the protection of your peace, you are just choosing to isolate and you're avoiding. And the
Hmm.
solution isn't scorekeeping, it's getting clarity,
Yeah.
right? Hey, I notice you haven't been available lately. Are you okay? Is something going on? Is something happening? Right?
Right. I think if they can't consistently show up, then you get to decide sort of just what sort of friendship you want to have with them.
Yeah, I think people struggle with that. I really do. I think people
Hmm.
struggle with understanding that you can categorize people. Not
Hmm.
everybody is a best. Not everyone is a beef, right? It does like
Hmm.
we don't have to go to
That's a
beefing
bar.
or being it doesn't have to be those extremes. Maybe someone moves from close friend to casual friend because that is the capacity that they have with you. Maybe you accept that this is a season where that person cannot give as much as they did in the previous season. Maybe you realize, you know what, we are just not aligning
Hmm.
in this season of our life. And I don't even know if we still hold the same values that we did before. And so you choose to exit the friendship. All of that requires communication with self, some emotional regulation, which I know the babies have a hard
Listen,
time with the emotional regulation sometimes, including me, call myself into,
including
including
us
us
all. But
all.
we manage our feelings, friends. We manage
Please.
our feelings.
Right? All of that requires communication, some emotional regulation, some vulnerability. The silent scorekeeping is passive aggressiveness. It's passive aggressive. And yeah, I don't
Hmm.
know if you do yourself a service with that because I don't know how you're evolving with that. Yeah.
So, what would you say to someone who is listening and realizing that like, maybe they're keeping score?
I mean, I think it's very important to get compassionate,
Yeah.
right? There's no judgment coming from our space. We're being just clear and honest about, hey, like get curious about yourself. What are you like, not just why, but what are you actually afraid of? Are you afraid of that you'll be taken advantage of? Is it about feeling like you'll look silly or dumb or stupid or whatever for caring more about someone and you think that they're not caring as much about you? Or do you just not know how to ask for what you need directly?
Hmm. Yeah, I love that because it helps us reframe that like scorekeeping is actually the symptom and
Yeah,
not the problem. Hmm.
exactly that. I think the problem is about vulnerability. I think the
Yeah.
problem is about unmet expectations. I think the problem is about communication and how you do these things. And do you know how to do these things, right? This kind of goes back to what we talked about in episode 1 around will and
Hmm.
skill, right?
Yeah.
And understanding like if you have the will to do something, but maybe not the skill, okay, well, then how can you work on that? Because if you work on that, then you don't have to keep score.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so if you're on the other side here, if you are the friend who's maybe been called out for not showing up, what then?
I think it's important for you to hear, and I think folks go to defensiveness because maybe in your mind and in your space, like you're showing up the best that you can, and that is valid, right? And it's also valid that a person has needs and expectations. I always encourage folks to talk. I have the best friends, like including you, that I can think of. Like you've been like, I think I came to you about like this offer I want to do, and you were like, okay, sis, like let's protect your coin.
Give it all away.
Felicia's a giver. Let's just protect your I really appreciated that. I think in that type of situation, it could be easy for someone to get defensive about like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, are you telling me to? I don't know. I don't know what people do. That's just what I imagine in my mind. I imagine
Hmm.
everybody is SpongeBob. That's what they
That's
sound
so
like in
random.
my head. Yeah. But for me, I was really appreciative. Why? Because I had to stop and say, this person really cares about me.
Yeah.
Because it could be easy to take advantage of me. It could be easy to say, all right,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna take that right off you
Hmm.
because the economy is tough,
Yeah.
right? And so I think if you're the person who's getting told something about yourself, it's important for you to check in with yourself and even decide like, okay, well, what is actually happening for me? And explore what is happening for me. So that
Hmm.
way you can come back honestly and say, maybe, you know what, you're right. I haven't had the capacity to show up. I haven't been showing up. Here's what's going on with me. Let's talk about both of our needs in this space. I want to hear about what your need is to know if I even have the capacity to show up that way because I may not. You also get to say, hey, I hear you and what you're asking for, the price is it's too high
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
what
I
I
don't got
got.
it right
I
now.
don't got it.
Yeah.
Either way, it's about checking in with yourself, getting compassionately curious so that you can be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's right. I think it's definitely better than silence and like the resentment that grows out of all of this.
Yeah, it's hard to come back from resentment. It's really hard to come back from resentment. So that's always better than that.
All right. Time for in the feed. What has caught your eye this week? What do you got?
Okay, so two things caught my
Hmm.
eye real quick, and they're interconnected. So
Okay.
I will hopefully be able to connect this because I'm a little odd with my stuff.
No
For,
comment.
first, we have Frieren, right? Beyond Journey's
Yes.
End is back for season 2. I am so excited, so excited. If you haven't watched it, this is the time for us our anime nerds and blurs out there. It's this beautiful anime about an elf mage who is processing grief and the passage of time after her adventuring party companions get older, and two of them end up passing. And it's
Hmm.
so slow and it's contemplative and it hits different when you're just thinking about loss and meaning and processing your feelings. And
Yeah,
you watch
I
this one.
I loved it. I was laughing so when I was reading over the notes for our show today. I had just caught up on the first 3 episodes of the second season. It was like,
Yeah.
yes, we are on the same page here. I love the show. I love the
Yeah,
show.
and I've added it to my dopamine menu. So I don't
Yeah.
know if you know about dopamine menus. Have you heard of
Mm-mm.
dopamine menus? Okay, so the idea is that you create a literal menu of activities. I think what's coming back is kind of this analog living, so that people can kind of just be more in their bodies, be more in their life, be distanced from their phones and devices. There's just a lot going on whenever you open up social media. So
Hmm.
sometimes people get caught up doom scrolling. And so there are these activities where you can categorize by how much energy they require and how much pleasure or regulation they provide. It's especially helpful for neurospicy folks like myself or anyone who gets in that I'm bored but nothing sounds good spiral. And then so they end up doom scrolling.
So smart. Okay, so then you just have different activities basically for different energy levels.
Yeah, exactly. So you might have appetizers. Appetizers could look like these quick, low effort things. Like maybe you do choose to scroll, but you scroll through just funny videos, or maybe you
Huh?
listen to a playlist, right? Maybe you put a playlist
Hmm.
together that feels good to your nervous system, good to your body. Then you have entrees. Those are like your medium effort activities, like going for a walk or calling a friend for a long conversation, working on a hobby. And then you have desserts. Desserts are these high effort, high reward things like you're starting a new project or you're deep diving into something that you love. And yeah.
Yeah, I really like that framework. I'd never heard of it before. Kind of what I love about it in 2026, I'm really trying to feel unbothered. That's like my goal. And so, it just takes the decision making out of the moment when your brain is just already
Yeah.
struggling. It's I like that.
As practice owners, I think decision fatigue is real. As entrepreneurs, decision fatigue is real,
Hmm.
right? Like
Hmm.
people who are entrepreneurs and people who may be in our line of work, we think all the time. We have to make decisions sometimes on the fly all the time. And so a dopamine menu is right up my alley. It's been my favorite thing to create on a week to week, day to day basis. So today on my dopamine menu is catching up with Frieren. I think I still have to catch up to episode 3. I think
Okay.
yeah. It does require some focus and presence because the storyline, it just gives you so much. But I get so much back emotionally and creatively. It really fills my cup in a way that scrolling just doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great distinction. Just not all dopamine hits are created equal.
Mm-mm.
I love
Mm-mm.
that.
Yeah, some things give you a quick hit, but they leave you empty, right? They leave you drained. Some things
Hmm.
ask more of you, but they actually nourish you. Like this for me is very nourishing. Like I know that I enjoy our conversations and I never leave drained from a conversation with you. So I do think building a menu helps you to be intentional about what you are choosing to do and why you are choosing to do it. So I think for those who in 2026 wants to be more intentional, like a dopamine menu is a great place to start.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just how often I end up just doom scrolling,
Hmm.
or just not even always doom scrolling about the world and that kind of thing, but just sort of scrolling to nowhere. Maybe think
Mm.
about it like that, right? Where it's just video after video after video after video on my phone when I could be doing something that would actually help me feel better.
Yeah, and you can base it off your energy level. For those of us
Yeah.
who are chronically ill baddies, it was a big deal for me because my energy levels fluctuate
Hmm.
it's an unwanted visitor. So sometimes it just kicks in the door and is like, "Hey, you don't have the spoons." And I'm like, "Okay. Well,
Yeah.
how I don't know how to get those back except to rest."
Yeah, that's right.
Well, All
That's
right,
right.
just we're here now,
Yeah.
and so sometimes that's really what it's like. Like you're here now, so I think it's lovely to be able to like think about how to lean in that way. I don't
Yeah.
have to have the decision fatigue when I make these menus. I also can it's also helpful when I'm thinking about like I don't have to think about what sounds good in the moment. I already can have
Mhm.
options ready based
Mhm.
off of like what's happening with my energy levels and my spoons. Yeah.
Yeah. I also I love pattern recognition.
Mhm.
And so it also makes me sort of think a little bit about this idea that like you notice you're always reaching for appetizers, right? And never for the entrees, and how like that might be telling you a little something about just like what
Mm,
your capacity is over a longer period, not just today, but this week I've noticed all appetizers, no entrees, right? And so sort of
uh-huh.
helping you think about like what you need, right, in a larger scale.
Yeah, it's data, right? And it helps you to
Hmm.
be honest with yourself. It's kind I actually, because this just hit me, like it's kind of like a different take on mood tracking, right? It helps you be
Mm.
honest with yourself about whether you're regulating or if you're just distracting yourself. Are you avoiding or are you actually giving your nervous system something to really regulate itself with, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my things. What about you? What has caught your eye?
Yeah. Yeah. Mine is the movie The Roses
Mm,
with Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch. Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen that yet. Is it good?
Okay, so I finally watched it. I've wanted to go see it. We thought about going to see it in the movies, but we just cannot get ourselves together to leave the house often.
Right.
And so I think it's very funny. It's like dark comedy, which is like right up my alley. But I think it also does a really good job of showing how a relationship can just sort of fall apart slowly over time, right? When both partners aren't sort of really doing two things. One, I think like keeping your own side of the street clean, right? And I think the other is just like being intentional with each other.
Which connects to what we were just talking about with
Mhm.
the friendships. Like
Yeah.
relationships don't usually end because of one big thing. Like, yes, we're not saying that that's not possible, but it's usually not that. Like, usually what we see in our work is because of there's these small cuts, these small things
Mhm.
that just never got addressed, right? When you're not keeping your side of the street clean, things pile up.
Absolutely. And I think the movie just shows that really well. It's almost like uncomfortable to watch at
Mm,
points because you can just see, maybe this is a couples therapist thing, but you can just see it's like if you had turned left instead of right
mhm.
here in this moment, it just could have been different if they just like communicated a little earlier, or like dealt with some of their own internal emotional like needs and wants, or just like been more intentional, tried to repair her instead of keeping score, sort of tie it back into what we were talking about before. And so it was great. I really liked it.
Yeah, now I wanna watch it.
You
I'm
should
gonna have to
watch it.
put that on my to be watch list.
Yeah, you should watch it.
So before we wrap, did you consider this? What is one thing we might have missed or an angle that's worth sitting with? Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So to go back to this idea of gatekeeping kindness, right? I think one of the things that I'm still sitting with is I focus a lot on the public consequences of their private life, but I didn't spend enough time acknowledging that for some people, especially people who have been hurt, who have been betrayed, we think of betrayal as a kind of trauma, right? These kinds of boundaries can feel necessary for safety. And so I don't want to dismiss that. I think the question there is, how do you honor your need for safety without making the world a colder place? And I don't have an easy answer for that. I don't think there is an easy answer for that, but that's something that I'm sitting with. How about you?
Something to consider. Yeah, that's really good. For the friendship scorekeeping thing, here's what I want to
Hmm.
add. I talked a lot about communication, I talked a lot about repair, but I didn't talk enough about discernment. Discernment
Hmm.
is so important. Sometimes you communicate, you do attempt repair, and the person shows you that they're not capable or willing to meet you. And at that
Yeah.
point, it's not about scorekeeping anymore. It is perhaps about the acceptance. Acceptance is not condonement,
Hmm.
right? You
Hmm.
accept who they are in this season of life and what they can give, and you decide if that's enough for you. And sometimes the answer is no, and that's okay too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's 100% right. Just knowing when to walk away is really just as important as knowing when to stay and work on it. It is a skill that we can cultivate.
Yes, exactly. I never blame folks when, whenever I see the videos around like, "Oh my gosh, why did they stay so long?" I
Hmm.
mean, sometimes people are stuck in that space of like, "Well, can we repair? Like, can we can I work on it? And so the question we want to leave you with is your relationships, whether they're romantic, platonic, all relationships, are you communicating your needs? Are you stating your expectations? Because expectations are like agreements, they need to be stated. Or are you silently keeping track? And if you are keeping track, what are you afraid will happen if you do speak up and be vulnerable?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I think it's, we don't always have all the answers. I don't know that we ever have all the answers, right? And we are learning alongside you. And so if something that we said today hit different, or if we missed something, there's another angle we got to consider, we want to hear about it. Let us know. We want to hear about
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
All right.
So as we wrap, what are you taking with you from today? What's it out?
Sitting with the repair piece, how many of my relationships I may have let go of without ever attempting to repair the rupture because I just didn't know if that could be an option, if that was how to even do that, and how many of those could have been saved if I had been brave enough to say something earlier. Yeah.
For me, it's the kindness question, right? So it's how do I stay faithful to my relationships while also still being a good human to strangers, which is important to me. And I think the answer is that like those things are not in conflict unless I make them in conflict.
Yeah, facts. Because to be quite honest, I don't know if I'm too ashamed about it, but I don't want to stop on the side of the road when I see certain people. That's just
Hmm.
me. It's
Hmm.
just scary. Oh, a funny story was
Yeah.
that one time, me and Cleon, we had to go to a conference, and I think the conference, I don't know, it was in Kentucky. We are coming back through the hills of West Virginia, and this man is stopped, like on the side. It's snowing. I was like, okay, well, we had seen people who had went to the conference with us. We had to pull over on the side of the road. I don't remember what was going on. The guy came towards us because he was further up. He comes towards us, and I start putting my window down, and Cleon is just like, "You're not black." Cleon immediately, he was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Why is it going down so far?"
Trying to get snatched up.
He's like, "We are in the hills of West Virginia, and we're black, and that person does not look like he has it all together." I did not see him until he got closer, and I
Huh?
saw that like maybe he had just partook of some things, right?
Oh, I see. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
On that narcotic.
yeah, something.
Okay.
I don't want to make claims that I don't know, but it was
Right.
very
We don't
clear that because I don't judge whatever you do, but it's just when you do that and then you're going to interact with me. So I cracked my window and it was just this exchange. And Cleon was like, "We're not helping that person. We gotta go."
Yeah, he's definitely right. We don't judge, but we don't lower the window all the way either. Come on.
That he's gonna be like, "Can't believe you just told you." Hey, shameless. Sometimes I had learned in that moment how kind I could be, and that there maybe does need to be a little bit of gatekeeping around kindness when it comes to your safety. So
I think that that's right.
we're not just saying go out and just like please
Spread the kindness in these streets, right?
use your discernment. Goes back to what we
Absolutely.
said earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't touch enough on that, but please use your discernment. But just a funny story because that
Yeah.
tied in. Somehow I
I'm
made
glad
it.
he got you together.
He
Cleon's
did
doing the
real
Lord's
fast,
work.
and he tells that story when y'all meet. He will tell you that story. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
this is how I knew.
I
Yeah,
can't wait.
I had
I'm
something
excited to hear it again.
to
Yeah.
worry about. Yeah, he'll tell it in full. It's actually quite embarrassing.
Yeah, I believe that. That's why I'm
It's
so excited.
but I do agree with you that you can still be good humans to strangers. You can still help someone get something
Yes.
off the second or third shelf. So we want to hear from you. We want to hear from
Please.
you what stood out to you. What are you wrestling with?
Yes, absolutely. You can find us on Instagram at The Wait and The Wonder. And if you're watching on YouTube, drop us a comment.
Yeah, and you don't have to talk about how I'm not black. I know that. I knew I wasn't black in that moment. So y'all could leave that out. But anything else, please let
Yeah.
us know.
Yeah. You don't have to comment about how short she is either
And
unless
you
you
don't
want
have
to.
to do that either. Like,
You
I know
can. I'm just saying,
that.
you can do that if you want to. Don't feel
If there's
obligated.
a video you want us to react to or a question you'd like to get our perspective on, please email us at thewaitandthewonder@gmail.com. And until next time, hold the wait.
Find the wonder.